Howdy folks, you're watching Deuces Guns, and today we're talking about Walking Dead. This is the 8th season. The season finale was last night, so let's talk about it because it's very interesting as far as a reloader and a firearms expert's concerned. I have been reloading for over 10 years, and I really like what Eugene is doing. Because Eugene, if you remember, is the guy with the mullet. He's the nerd, the dork, whatever you want to call him. Okay, well, Eugene was in charge of reloading ammunition. He was making all his ammunition for the bad guys for this final battle. Basically what Eugene does, oh, I'm sorry, spoiler alert. If you're not seeing the season finale yet, spoiler alert. Eugene lines up everybody, all the bad guys, just like an old Revolutionary War tactic where you line up everybody and everyone's going to fire at once. Well, he has everybody do that and all their guns explode. How did he do that? Let's take a look. Well, there's a couple different ways you could do that. You can make a gun explode a few different ways. So one way to do that would be a barrel obstruction. So you take a AR-15. They were all using pretty much AR-15s and AK-47s. Almost universally, everybody was using that. I think there was a couple of HK-91s out there, but not many. So one way to do it would be a barrel obstruction, where you have to have access to all the firearms, which Eugene did not have. But if he had access to all the firearms, he could have plugged up all the barrels. Basically, take a piece of lead, take a bullet. Here's a cast lead bullet right here. And he could have pounded that in with a cleaning rod until it was sitting, somewhere in the middle of the barrel. And then once they fire their rounds, of course, all these are empty, by the way. See, right there, empty. So once they fired their rounds, it would send the bullet into the bullet that is stuck in the barrel, causing the whole barrel to explode. Well, number one, that's not what I saw on the video. You can see what explodes in the video, and it's definitely not the barrel. And number two, Eugene did not have access to the firearms, just the ammunition, which he was reloading for. A second way you could make your firearm blow up, and it would be a little more similar to what we saw in the video, and that would be to put the wrong projectile into the case. And if you're not familiar with how a cartridge is put together for a firearm, you have your brass case right here, you put a primer in the back, that's pretty much universal, it's hard to screw that up. You put gunpowder down inside, and then you put a bullet on the end. The bullet's what leaves the brass and travels down the barrel, out the barrel toward the enemy, and the brass is what's ejected off the side. So he could have put the incorrect bullet into the casing. So when you try to fire it, it would fire a too large of a bullet into a smaller barrel. And that's possible, but they would have known. They would have figured out, anybody who knew a little bit about firearms would have known that that was the wrong, hey, that's too big. That's the wrong bullet. And he would risk the idea that this wouldn't chamber. So someone would chamber their firearm and know, oh, this is wrong. I can't shoot this because it wouldn't go all the way into battery. There'll be a few of them that would not do that. So he couldn't have done that either. So what did Eugene do, you ask? Well, that's what's really cool about it. He put the wrong powder in. Let me hang this bad boy back up here. Okay, what he did was he used the wrong burn rate of powder, and that's what blew up all the bad guys' guns in Walking Dead. Now, if you're not familiar with gunpowder, there are thousands and thousands of different types of gunpowder. Now, for the most part, gunpowder is measured from very slow burning powders that you would use in a rifle, all the way through the gamut to very fast moving powders that would use in a pistol. So you have a very short barrel in the pistol, so you got to burn up all that powder real quick and get that projectile out as quickly as possible. Well, you don't need to do that in a rifle. Actually, it's advantageous to use a slow burning powder because a rifle has all this extra barrel up here. And if you use a quick burning powder, a fast burning powder, it will burn up all this powder, will be burned up by here. And then you have this bullet that's just free balling the rest of the way down the barrel without being accelerated. So you use a slow burning powder. This is my favorite rifle powder, by the way. Alliance Reloader 15. This is the bomb. You use this in .223 and .556 in .30 caliber, everything but a Magnum case caliber for rifles. And that's going to get a bullet accelerating all the way down the barrel length. And then the idea is to use up all the powder in that case the second the bullet reaches the end of the barrel. So what Eugene did, instead of using a slow to medium burn rate powder meant for rifles, he used a very fast burn rate powder, such as this red dot here. This is meant for 9mm. He used that instead and just packed the bejesus out of that case. So he just completely filled these up. And blew up every single rifle the bad guys had. Now as a demonstration, I'm going to burn both these powders. A very fast powder, red dot is very fast powder, and then Reloader 15, a fairly slow powder. Some people actually argue that this is a little bit slower than it should be for use in the 5.56 round, but trust me, it is not. So there we go, Reloader 15, and of course I'm going to put the cap back on because I do not want an entire pound of powder going off like a humongous Roman candle, especially not in a bunker. And here we go. That's actually quite a bit of powder. We'll see what that looks like. Alrighty, so here's a rifle powder right here. It's a fairly slow burning powder. You can feel the heat off that, which is nice because it's super cold right now. Oh yeah, by the way, I do have safety precautions. The bunker has always been ready to go in case of fire. And now, let's burn this red dot. It should be much faster. You should definitely see a difference. You see that? That was a huge difference in powder. And you can see the powder was much less hot and intense in the red dot because it just burns so much faster. The Reloader 15 is a hotter, slower burning powder. It has time to actually heat up. The red dot, it's just a flash in the pan. Now, if you really want to get technical, if I had some black powder, I do have some black powder. Hold on. No, I just thought it's on the fly, but here we go. GoX black powder. Eugene could have used black powder in that. I don't know what that would have done. Actually, I do know what that would have done. Not blow up the rifle. But here's an example of super fast powder. Unfortunately, black powder acts very differently when it is out in the open. This is where the term flash in the pan comes from. And it's a super fast powder, but it does not have the oomph that these other powders have. There you go. Quite a bit more smoke and flame. Is let's see, did I lose any hair? No, I did not. Good deal. But yeah, that is a super fast powder. But again, black powder will not blow up a AK-47 or an AR-15. I've already done that. If you want to see that, there's a link right there of me trying to shoot a black powder AR-15. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Now, what's really cool about Eugene's reloading setup and sabotage is that it's all based in reality. The reloading stations that he has, because he has an entire building built around reloading ammunition. He has a melting pot for reloading and casting bullets. He has brass preparation. He has people sorting brass. He has a bunch of single stage presses. They're loading the primers. They're conditioning the cases. They are measuring out and putting in the powder, and they are loading the bullets. And they're going through every single stage. It looks totally legit. And the fact that he used the wrong powder, more than likely, that's what I'm guessing. He used the wrong powder and blew up all the firearms because they all blew up at the chamber. They all blew up right here. And the AK-47 blew up right here. That's exactly where they would blow up. And that is pretty insane that there's a zombie TV show out there with some sort of basis in reality regarding their firearms and firearm process. That is just pretty insane to see that. Well guys, what do you think about zombies and The Walking Dead? And if you did watch it, the reloading setups that Eugene was using, if you watched that, I thought it was pretty impressive and pretty amazing. Well guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and go subscribe. A lot more is on the way. And if you have any comments, questions, or show ideas, remember to leave that in the comment box below the video. I'm always looking for new show ideas and new comments and questions about the show. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.